Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Winnipeg Jets Postgame Show presented by Budweiser. I'm Sara Orlesky. So happy to have Mitchell Clinton join me.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, especially after a game like this, the Winnipeg Jets in a must-win game come up with a 2-0 win over the Nashville Predators. Game 79 of the season for the Jets. We know where things were in the standings and how important this game was going to be with the way that Nashville has been able to go on their run of late. That second wildcard spot in jeopardy with the outcome of this game had Nashville been able to pull it off. But the Winnipeg Jets come up with the type of effort, particularly when you look at that second period on, that Jets fans have been clamoring for.
Yeah, I thought Winnipeg did just I don't want to say tentative, but I think they were still figuring out exactly how they were going to get through that Nashville neutral zone that seems to cause a lot of teams problems, and that's why Nashville's been able to stay in a lot of games, and UC Saros is also a big part of that. But it seemed like once the Jets figured that out, and that was kind of in the latter half of the first period, all of a sudden they were all over Nashville. They were getting through the neutral zone with ease. Now all of a sudden you're attacking the blue line with speed. Their forecheck was sensational throughout, I would say, the majority of this hockey game. And no matter what stat you look at, the Jets were absolutely dominant tonight. UC Saros, of course, plays well, makes 36 saves, but Winnipeg, full credit for this win tonight.
I was going to say, you previewed into this game going that there were five, looking at 5 key games over the history with the Jets and the Predators. This one, if you had to classify it, I think would look as the Winnipeg Jets versus UC Saros. The 2 goals for the Jets coming from Mark Scheifele, his 40th, the first time in his career that he's hit 40, and Neil Pionk, who hits double digits, for the first time in his career. And happy to have Neil Pionk downstairs wearing the headset joining us. Neil, describe this win and the importance of this win for your group.
Yeah, it's huge. Just win, baby, win. That's what we said after the game. So we take it game by game, and that's all we can do is win.
When you look at the way that look at the defense in particular, the way that you guys have been activating, what Rick Bowness has been encouraging your group to do. We're already at career highs, but hit the double-digit mark for the first time. What is it that he's encouraged your blue line, especially going into this game, to be involved in?
Well, to certainly be involved in the rush, but also for the forwards to look for us. I've been saying it for 4 years since I've been here, give me the puck. But no, I'm just kidding. No, it's been a huge encouragement, especially from the start of training camp. He really wanted to challenge us and wanted us to score more goals than we have.
What was it that as that game, particularly as maybe the latter half of that first period went on, what was it that you guys, whether it found that next gear, confidence, what was it that really allowed you to be able to take it more to Nashville?
Well, I think contrary to the Calgary game, we stayed out of the penalty box. We allowed all 4 lines to roll, and we just kind of took over physically and with the puck in all 3 zones, really. So I thought it was a great game all the way through, and like I said, it was more so the flow of the game that really helped us tonight. How
would you describe the pass that Nikolai Ehlers, who seemed to be flying tonight, appropriately with his nickname, but the pass that he gave you on your goal?
Yeah, about time. No, again, I'm just kidding. No, it was a great pass. I mean, when you're going down the wall like that and the D's pressuring you in a 1-0 game, it's easy just to dump it in or to shoot it on net, but he found me late, and it was a great play all the way around.
All right, thanks so much for the time, Neil.
Thank you.
Just get him how many times does a man have to say?
Well, when you're going to shoot like that.
Absolutely. Okay, so go back at just mentioning again, Mark Scheifele he gets things going, hits the 40-goal mark. He becomes just the 3rd Jet in 2.0, joining Patrick Laine and Kyle Connor to be able to hit that mark.
Yeah, and some real nice patience on this one, too. I mean, he had one in the first period on a backdoor slap pass on the power play from Nikolai Ehlers that didn't go for him. And this one, he didn't get the benefit of the bounce in the first. He got the benefit of the bounce there, but I thought their line was sensational this entire game. And yeah, Vladislav Nemesnikov's on the ice in this situation, but Connor, Dubois, Scheifele, I mean, when you look at 5-on-5 shot attempts, they had 80% of them when they were on the ice, and they weren't the only line that had a ridiculously high number like that, but it just seemed their sticks were active, their forecheck was relentless, and it just kind of funneled all the way through the lineup because that next line that would hop over would do the exact same thing. And like Neil Pionk said, they just got everybody rolling. And when that happens, the Jets are an absolute handful.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at it, 38 shots net for it. Every blue liner had a shot as well. I think there were only a couple Jets that didn't. Morgan Barron and Vladislav Nemesnikov, the only 2 that didn't have register a shot here tonight. Now, this is a game that we say, so everyone's rolling, and it's great. To me, I've got to say, so this is game 4 of this homestand.
Yeah.
To me, the first star throughout this entire homestand have been the fans. And I think I have to give credit because we've heard players speak about the atmosphere for it. This has felt like a playoff-like atmosphere throughout this homestand. Fans being that extra body, that extra incentive for the group.
Well, and you look back at whether it's the Stanley Cup playoff appearances or it's the first few years of the franchise being here. And, after they would, announce the starting lineup, that Go Jets Go chant would fill the building. And it's happened throughout this homestand, and you can feel that energy. And I remember partway through the second period where the Jets were really rolling. It was still 0-0, but they were doing absolutely everything but score. And I think it went to commercial break, which is probably the worst time commercial break ever, but there was a standing ovation for the Jets. And the work that they were doing, just shift after shift, wearing down Nashville, and you could see the surge that gave the Jets, and then they scored shortly after, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah, we mentioned Juuse Saros and the job that he's been doing. When you look at some of the saves that he made tonight, now he got some help from posts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
As well, absolutely, the Winnipeg Jets going on, but he made you can see why. I mean, the Nashville Predators are still in the mix because of Saros.
Yeah, he's faced the most shots in the National Hockey League, and I can't imagine after facing 38, that changed too much tonight. He and Connor Hellebuck tied for the league lead in 62 starts this year, including this game. And yeah, I mean, the Jets were in his kitchen the entire evening, and they had to be.
Okay, we are going to go into the dressing room momentarily, but there was also some controversy, at least when you look at it from Jets fans' standpoint within the building for it. It was what they thought was going to be the second goal that was ruled no goal, and I think that we have it now to be able to show you happening in the second period, late in the second period, up 1-0.
Yeah, and it's just kind of sitting underneath Juuse Saros, and you see Pierre-Luc Dubois come and poke it in. And when it happened, because as the fans we mentioned, were going nuts, I didn't hear the whistle at the time, but there is a rule 31.2, clearly we all have that memorized, that specifically states that, there is the intent to blow the whistle, and, you were watching and listening back to it, and you heard the whistle was there. So unfortunately it doesn't count for Winnipeg, but they end up getting a big goal in the third.
Yeah, certainly Wes McCauley, known for his dramatics anyways, made the dramatic announcement for it. He was the one behind it, but it is 31.2. So I'm just going to paraphrase quickly because I know that some Jets fans upset that it didn't count. It really relates to the human factor. Ref may deem the play to be stopped slightly prior to the whistle actually being blown. The fact that the puck may come loose or cross the goal prior to the whistle has no bearing if the referee had ruled that the play had been stopped prior to this happening. We've seen this rule be implemented before, and certainly, so that is an explanation if you are watching and wondering why that goal did not count. That is why. All right, let us hear from one of, I thought, didn't get a goal, but factored in on that Neil Pionk goal, one of the best players I thought on the ice tonight, most dynamic, Nikolai Ehlers.
Nikolai, you take that stick to the face early in the game. Would you say that that kind of is a way to get you into the game early? Because you seem to be, from that point on, you were absolutely flying all night.
I mean, I felt pretty good before that happened. Stuff happens. Definitely didn't feel good, but that's hockey.
What was working so well for you and your line and your team tonight?
We were using our speed, getting pucks deep and working their D. It's pretty cliche, but it works. And we had some very good ozone changes in the second period there that got us going in their zone for a couple minutes. So we're happy with the way that we played tonight. Obviously, there's things that we can still clean up, but overall we played a team game.
Does it feel like a playoff effort by your club, Nikolai?
I mean, it's definitely more playoff-like than Game 1 of the regular season. But I mean, obviously the last game against Calgary was a little more playoff-like, but no, that's fine. We know what we need to do here the last 3 games. We'll be ready for those.
Seemed like you really took things over in the second period with that stretch that you're talking about. What kicked that section off for you guys?
We played it simple. You chip pucks against a team like this with speed on the outside. You'll get that puck back. So they're a very good team. obviously they have a lot of new guys, young guys, but they have some grit. They got the skill, they got the speed. They're a very, very good team. So we're happy with the win tonight.
Rick talked about them being a hungry team before this game. Do you feel like you guys were a hungry team?
Yeah. I mean, we obviously know after last game we weren't happy with that. We weren't happy with the way we played, and that needed to change. So I think we showed that hunger pretty good. Bucky was outstanding. Our Ds were buzzing up and down that ice, and that was a good win. So we'll keep that going.
How big was it to get that second goal? Because you dominate the second, but you're only up 1, and now they get the intermission. So you wonder maybe how you guys come out. But it looked like you kind of picked up right where you left off. Yeah.
I mean, every goal is extremely important. But they also got a pretty damn good goalie back there. Like I said, we were hungry tonight, and that break from the second to the third didn't stop us. We knew what we had to do to finish off this game, and we were able to do that.
Calling for that puck? Is he snapping on the?
I knew.
Did you see him the whole way, or?
I knew he was coming. So it was just a matter of letting those 3 guys go deep enough for him to be open for me. Obviously, he comes in at a perfect spot and rips that one home. So. Yeah, it's nice.
You talked about your goalie a lot. What have you seen from Connor down the stretch here? There's 11 in a row here and leads the league in starts.
Bucky. I mean, he's a guy that works extremely hard. He works really hard for this team. He plays hard. He's a pretty damn good goalie, and we're extremely lucky to have him. So. The way that he has played for us all year, and obviously the last couple of years, but especially this year, is pretty impressive. So, I don't think without him, we probably could have lost some games down the stretch that we had. He kept us in this fight, so we like him a lot.
We're gonna get him.
And we will get ready to take you back into the dressing room momentarily to hear from Mark Scheifele. With the win tonight, according to Money Puck, the website, Winnipeg Jets' chances up now to 76% to being able to claim that second wild card spot for it. Let's look at the standings right now after this. When it comes to that wild card position, you know that the Kraken are in already. So this is such a busy night. The busiest night in terms of 32 teams ever in the NHL. All 32 teams playing for the first time ever. Calgary Flames haven't had the puck drop yet, so there'll be some movement in here. But when you look at the standings again, this is why it was so important for the Jets.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the Winnipeg Jets holding the tiebreaker as well, if it means that Calgary and Nashville have to not only tie, but they have to get past the Winnipeg Jets. So now what you've done, especially by beating Nashville here, putting them 3 points behind, well, now it's going to take a couple of games at the very least for Nashville to be able to pass you. So you start to run them out of games, and now you just, you start turning on the Calgary-Vancouver game, and you watch and see if your 2 points is the only one that goes up on the board tonight.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of intrigue, obviously, in that game in a number of cities. Let's head back into the dressing room. Number 55, who got number 40? Mark Scheifele.
The key to, I guess, staying patient as a team when you guys are dominating zone time and chances, but coming up, hitting posts and Saros, but not getting away, I guess, from what's working.
Yeah, when you're dominating the game like that, you just gotta stick with it. You start to worry when you're not getting the chances, and we had plenty of them tonight. So Saros played amazing. He's one of the best goalies in the world for a reason, and he kept him in it. And it was obviously good to get those 2, and it would have been nice to make it a little less close. But when you play against a good goal, it makes it tough.
So does number 40 feel extra special, not just because it's a milestone goal, number 40, but because of when it came and what it meant at the time?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously a big game and a big time in the game. So obviously that made it feel even better. But it was obviously a very, very good feeling, and I'm lucky I played with some really good players.
What do you see as the play development? You picked a perfect time to shoot. What's going through your mind as you curl over the top and go through the slot?
Yeah, I knew they were tired. We had they had a full shift in there. Wheels, had a great change in the ozone for me, and I got out there fresh, and they were tired. So, it was a weak side guy actually that opened up the more space. When that guy's a threat, it makes it tough for that guy to jump me. So, let me walk all the way in, and obviously have to put it home.
At one point, I think Neil Pionk is standing in front of their net. An example, I guess, of just activating the D and causing some chaos.
Yeah, when you have a team running like that and they're tired, and the deactivate, it makes it pretty tough for them to get their spacing and be able to shut down a play. So it was just obviously a great change by Wheels, and when you got them tired, I think there's a number of times where in that second period where we had in the zone for, it felt like 3 or 4 straight shifts, and when you do that, it makes it pretty tough for the other team to go the other way.
Was the message during the second intermission to not deviate from what had been working, not come into the third and just try and sit on that lead? Because it looked like you guys kind of picked up right where you left off.
Yeah, you have to. It's only a 1-goal lead. You got to keep pushing. You got to stay on them and make it really hard. And when you're playing the ozone, it makes it pretty hard for them to score a goal. So, sometimes good offense is the best defense.
Did it feel like a step-up game for the group in one that you really needed?
Yeah, we needed that one for sure. Saro's kept him in it all game. It easily could have been a blowout, and he played amazing. So kudos to him. He's a fantastic goaltender, and but at the end of the day, it was a big win for this team, and you just got to keep pushing.
Speaking of goaltenders, Steve and Connor, obviously not just tonight, but during the stretch, down the stretch, 11 starts in a row, and really standing tall for your group there. Yeah,
it's also nice, when you have the days off that we've had, it makes it a lot easier. We've had a pretty tough schedule up until that San Jose game on the road, where we had a couple days off, and nice to get rested, nice to get home in your own bed, and Helly's been awesome. He's been a rock for us all year, and he's the reason. He's the only reason why we're where we are, and he's been fantastic. And I think tonight was an easier one for him, but when we needed him, he made the big saves, and hopefully we can give him a few more easy ones.
You can hear the rest of Mark Scheifele tonight on the Winnipeg Jets website, but we want to hear now from Rick Bowness.
Was that second period, in your eyes, maybe your best period of the season?
Yeah, probably was. It started in the first, and we had a great second half to that first period, and it carried over into the second period. But clearly that game could have been 4 or 5-0 after 2 periods. The goalpost from his empty nets. But yeah, that was a dominant second period.
So how do you, manage emotions then in a game where it's not 4 to 5-0? It's in fact 0-0 until Mark gets the goal. But you're going into the third, and it's a 1-goal game, so you don't get away from obviously what you're doing well. In fact, you looked like you just picked up where you left off in the third. Yeah,
well, we did, and we just kept saying, stay in the fight. The players know when they're on their game, and what we look like, and how we were dominant. So we didn't have to go and make any real adjustments. Just keep doing what you're doing, and that's what we just kept preaching, even on the bench. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't get frustrated. Stay in the fight. Stay shift to shift. Stay in the moment, and we did that very good job with that tonight.
What did you think of Nikolai Ehlers' game today?
That was one of his best games by far. He was skating great, and against a team like that that 1-1-3 in the neutral zone, they're standing up. You gotta get the D turning, and you gotta get them into foot races. So when you get them into foot races, you want to make sure you have the speed to get there, and Nick gives us that speed. So that was one of his better games for sure.
You talked yesterday about how hungry Nashville has been. Do you think your team played like a hungry team tonight?
Yeah, we did. And listen, they're coming off of 2. They beat Vegas in overtime. They beat Carolina, right? So they're coming off of 2 big wins against 2 excellent hockey clubs. So they were really feeling good about themselves coming into the game tonight. And so it took us probably, we had the great power play that we missed open nets and posted. But after that, we started going. So, we knew they'd come out pretty good because they were feeling good about themselves. But once we started putting the pressure on at the end of that first period, then we just kept with it for the remainder of the game.
You mentioned some guys that had big games. Neil Pionk, he was like in the crease when pretty much when Scheifele scores, and then he gets that big one for you.
Yeah, he's right at the net, and that's what we need net presence. So there's our D down there. But and that was a very. I talk a lot about timely goals and timely saves. Like Neil's goal, that's a timely goal. So they're coming into the third period. They're down 1-0. They say, "Well, we got a great chance here." So that's a huge timely goal for our team. So it kind of took the wind out of their sails early. And it gave us, again, more momentum going into that third period.
And Rick, how would you describe Connor's ability, or Connor Hellebuyck's ability to stay sharp when the guy at the other end has got much more volume, but he stood tall when you really needed him to?
Yeah, he did. And, that's a tough goal for a goaltender. He's not getting any shots. We were in their zone the whole second period. They had one chance off the rush in the second period. But, so give him a lot of credit for his mental skills to stay focused and dialed in, because you knew they were going to make a push in the third after we got the goal, and he made some timely saves. So that is tough for a goalie. You're not getting any work. We're in their zone, I think, 6 minutes, and so anyways, give him a lot of credit for that.
What does it mean for Mark Scheifele, too? We know he leads your team in goals, but to get one at a time where it looked like it was going to be tough to score, he hits the post early. What do you think that meant for him to come up with such a big goal at such a big moment at a time?
Good for him. 40 goals, that's a hell of a season. He's got 3 more games to add on that, and he could have had the empty netter to hit the post. But I think that's a good example of our perseverance tonight. We stayed with it. We were out getting all those chances. He hit the post a couple of times. He had some great looks, but we stayed in the fight. And Mark's goal was a perfect example of that. Just stay in it and stay in the moment, stay shift to shift, and he gets a very timely goal for us.
Rick, what in your mind started off that second period sequence? I think it was 4 straight shifts in the offensive zone.
I think it started in the first period. We just built, so we went in after the first period and talked about that was a great finish to the period. Let's pick up right where we left off, and the players did a good job of that. Good, thanks.
A very happy coach. You always have to you always like to see Rick Bowness be able to leave the podium so happy. Connor Hellebuyck, 32nd career shutout. Want to make note of that. Rick was asked about Nikolai Ehlers, and I don't know if there's any player this season in terms of ice time that has been more of either a concern for Winnipeg Jets fans because they'd like to see him on the ice more. You certainly saw, Bowness saying that this was, arguably one of his best games that we've seen so far this season. So just quickly, I'll say 1 assist on the Pionk goal, 16 minutes of ice time, 4 shots, 5 attempts blocked, and 2 missed shots. So he was all over the place tonight.
Yeah, and when we're applying for jobs, we make demo tapes, right? And this would be the Nikolai Ehlers demo tape because he was so fast through the neutral zone. That's what he does so well, breaking that 1-1-3. And then he hit 2 posts tonight, and that's the wicked shot that he possesses, and he loves to shoot from that strong side left circle. And then this is on the goal, just really nice awareness here. This is another move that he makes, another shot on goal. The goal is coming up. But this is just, he's playing with confidence, playing with speed, backing off the Predators, and that is probably what allowed him to get some room to make a play here. So he chips this in, and then just good on-ice awareness, knows Neil Pionk is coming and puts it right where it absolutely has to be. And, when Nikolai Ehlers is playing like that, winning foot races, because there's not many people in the National Hockey League, if any, that can beat him in a foot race, he becomes an even more dangerous player, and that's exactly what he was.
Yeah, speed, obviously. We've seen a couple of great assists from him in recent games during this homestand as well. All right, this homestand is going to conclude the final regular season home game. Happens Monday. The Jets are off on Sunday, but they have 3 games left, and what a key 3 games this is going to be in those final stretch. San Jose is here in town, and then they head out for 2 against juggernauts in the Central Division as well. But fan appreciation night on Monday, and certainly the fans have been appreciated throughout this stretch, but this will be another big game, particularly with the standings being what they could be by the end of tonight.
Yeah, exactly, and that's pretty much it, right? You're going to watch the Calgary Flames, how they're going to do tonight, and then you're going to know that you have to take care of business on Monday. That's just a fact. And obviously the San Jose Sharks, specifically James Reimer, has been a little bit of a problem, so you hope that dam breaks on Monday for the Winnipeg Jets. But if they play like this in this similar way against the San Jose Sharks, they're going to give themselves a real good opportunity.
Absolutely, and that's what they've said, right? Even when they had suffered the loss against Calgary here, that it was, we have put ourselves in this situation to be able to control our own destiny.
Yep.
And they certainly took another big step forward with this key win tonight. So that is going to be it for us. Again, 2-0 win over the Nashville Predators. What a way on a Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
The days are all blending together.
Really
Saturday night, what a perfect way for this evening to get going for so many people. Again, Mark Scheifele with his 40th of this season, Neil Pionk with his 10th, and the Winnipeg Jets shut out the Nashville Predators. Make sure that you tune into Winnipeg or go to winnipegjets.com. Mitch, you'll have recap
Absolutely.
for it. I can only imagine how you're going to be able to sum that up in short order, because there's so much that you could talk about from a
All
Jets
in caps,
perspective.
basically. That's pretty much it.
Single space, no double space on this
Spoiler
one.
alert, it's going to be all in caps.
On here tonight. You can also, again, hear the rest of Mark Scheifele and Nikolai Ehlers' media availability on the website. But thank you so much to everyone for joining us, and we will see you Monday night after the game against the San Jose Sharks. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone.